Okay, guys, so we are in a new lesson, still in chapter 10. So, quick little review. We started chapter 10 by talking about surface area. Remember, surface area is the area all around the surface. It makes sense just like that. So, if you had a rectangular prism like a cube, you found the area of all those sides and added them up. If you had a cylinder, that's where the bases are circles. You found the area of those bases, and then you found that lateral surface, which is essentially a rolled up rectangle. You added all those bases together, and the sides, that was your surface area. Same thing with a triangular prism. You add those together. Then we move to pyramids. Same idea with surface area, though. With the pyramids, you just only had one base. You still found the area of the base and then added it to the area of the sides. What surface area tells you is how much space is taking up on the outside. So, for example, if I were to look at this first little figure here, the smallest one, surface area tells me how much space I have on each side, right? So how much space is this side? How much space is this side? How much space is the top? How much space is the bottom? Exactly. And you add them all up. Sometimes that's exactly the same as what we're going to call now volume. Volume is the amount of space that something takes up. So think surface area is the outside and volume is the inside. So let's look at the second one now. If I wanted to find the surface area of that, I would take the area of each side and then add it up. Whereas the volume, I just want to know how many total cubes are there. That would give me the volume. Now, how you're going to calculate volume, instead of just finding the area of each side and then adding those together, you are going to find the area of the base and then multiply it by the height. So, for example, the area of the first base, right? It's 2 by 6. So we know that the area of the first base is, 2 by 3, sorry. So it's 6. So the area of the base for this one is 6. And we're going to multiply it by how high it is. What's the height? 1, right? So the volume of that is 6. Second one, the base is the same, so that's still 6, but now it's too high. It's twice as high. Our volume is now 12. That's how many cubes we have. That's how much space is taken up there. For the next one, the base is still the same, but now it's 3 cubes high. 18, that's how many cubes it takes up. That's how much space it takes up. That is the volume. So this is what we're going to be doing today. But I really want you, just like when we did circumference and area, to make sure you understand the difference between surface area and volume, right? Like we had a lot of different formulas. There was a formula for each lesson so far. But if you understand the idea that surface area is just adding up the area of the surface, you can just remember that. And volume is just figuring out the amount of space inside. So that is just area of the base times height. If you can understand it that simple, you should be fine. So let's do a couple of these now. Okay, so I would put this in your books for sure. If you have a section where you're writing down all your formulas, add this there. So volume of the prism, like I just said, is the area of the base and you multiply it by the height. Notice here that they put a capital B. That is because lowercase b is just the base side. Remember when we were finding the area of a square? Base just is the bottom side of the square. Height is the height of the square. So when we're saying we want the whole area of the base as opposed to just the base side of the base, we use a capital B. So capital B is area of the base, and then we're going to multiply that by the height of the prism. Do not get that confused with if I had a square or a rectangle and I had base times height, area of that is going to be base times height. Lowercase b versus uppercase b. So we can get rid of that. Now, here is the area of your base. That's the red part for both of these. and you're going to multiply it by the height. Simple. Let's do one. So here's our first example here. We have this rectangular prism. Remember, we know it's a rectangular prism because the base is a rectangle. So let's find the area of that base. We know for the area of a rectangle, it's just base times height. So our volume equals capital B times H. Capital B is the base of the area, so that's going to be the base times the height of the base, so that's that area down there. Then we're going to multiply that by the height, which here is 15, right? End up with 48 times 15, 720. Now, when we were doing area and surface area, remember the units were squared? Now I need you to remember when we're doing volume, the units are cubed. So when you do volume, you're going to have a little 3 on your units, as opposed to when you're doing area, you'll have the little 2. So that's example 1. I'll walk you through it one more time in case you missed what I did. Finding the volume is the space all inside, so I'm going to find the area of the base, which was 6 times 8, and I multiplied that by the height. That's how I got my 720. Now I'm going to give you 2 to try. Okay, here are your 2 problems. I want you to try them, pause, and then come back and check your answer. Okay, so the answers you should have gotten are for this one, you'd have gotten 64 cubic feet, and here you would have gotten 255 cubic centimeters. All right, so I'm going to do the purple one just because some people still get a little tricked up on the parallelogram, and I'll move on from there. So first thing I'm going to do is find the area of the base. This is still base times height. Even though this is like a slanted rectangle, you find it the same way. It's still base times height. So, but you notice here that they told you that the height is actually the 5 centimeters. So let's go ahead. Remember, volume of a prism is still capital B times H. That's the base of the height. So that's going to be 5 times 8.5, and multiply that by the height, which is 6. 5 times 8.5 is 42.5. Multiply that by 6, and that's where you're going to get your 255. And remember, since it's volume, we want our unit cubed. There you go. Now we're going to move on to triangular prisms. Okay, now I'm on page 429, and we are talking about the volume of a triangular prism. Remember, triangular prisms are those ones that have 2 bases, but the bases are triangles. See? You have one back there and one up here. And so remember that your base is the triangle. Even though right now it's sitting on one of the sides that's a rectangle, the bases are the triangles. So when you're finding the area of the base, that means find the area of the triangle. So let's find the volume of this triangular prism. Remember, volume of a prism equals capital B, which is the area of the base, times height. So let's find the area of the base, the triangle. Remember, area of a triangle is 1/2 times the base of the triangle, which is 5.5, times the height of the triangle, which is 2. And now we're going to multiply that by the height, which is 4, that right here. All right, so we end up with 5.5 times 4, which is going to give us 22 inches cubed. So again, I don't want people to make this mistake. The base is the triangle if it's a triangular prism. The base is the rectangle if it's a rectangular prism. The base is the circle. If it's a cylinder, know what the base is, because if you use the wrong base, you will get the wrong volume. All right? So again, you're going to do a couple of these, and then we'll go for your answer. Okay, here are the two problems you're going to do. Pause, and then come back and check your answer. Okay, for your answers, you should have over here 270 millimeters cubed. And over here, you should have 2.25 meters cubed. I'm going to do the blue one this time. So remember, volume of a prism equals capital B times H. Capital B is the base, the area of the base. So let's find the area of the base. Remember, with triangular prisms, the base is the triangle. So 1/2, because it's a triangle, times the base, which is 12, times the height, which is 5. Then we're going to multiply that by the 9. 1/2 times 12 times 5 is 30. Multiply that by 9. We end up with 270 meters cubed because it's volume. There you go. That is lesson 10.4.